Carl, all of a sudden, after a few weeks of us going, do you still believe you're in finals now? You're sort of right in the hunt. How's the group feeling after 3 straight wins?
Yeah, the group is in a good spot. You always expect to, training lifts, everything lifts when you've had a few W's. So look, the boys' confidence is good. We've had some really good performances the last couple of months, and it's good to see that we're actually rewarding ourselves and picking up the points.
The way you won, was the way you won as important as the win? To come back from 2-0 down, does that give you even something more?
Yeah, it certainly does. It instills that belief in the playing group that we've been talking about all season, about playing our football and trusting yourselves. And I think you showed that, seen that last week. To concede 2 goals in that first 25 minutes, and we weren't poor in that first 25 minutes. We just switched off a couple of times and got punished. But the response from the group in difficult conditions as well, because it was quite warm over there, was excellent, and we couldn't have asked for any more from the group.
We've seen it's sort of become a hallmark of the side since you've taken over, that you guys can go on big runs of wins, and that momentum is a big thing. Is that just a result of having a lot of young players? Why is that the case?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I think our messaging doesn't really change to the playing group. We always back them in, and footballers can be a little bit strange at times when things aren't going well for them. They have that self-doubt and don't want to make mistakes. And once you start getting that little bit of belief, you start to play with more freedom. And I think you've seen that in the playing group in the last month and a half. And when you play with that bit more freedom, the passes seem to stick a little bit more, and your shots seem to go in the back of the net.
Big game tomorrow, obviously. It's been described as Nesta's farewell game here at Cooper's. How do you sort of put a lid on that? Do you let it continue on? Does it become a distraction? How do you sort of manage that?
No, we're just, as I said, focusing on doing what we've been doing all season. Nesta will do what he does, and hopefully he can perform at the level that he's been performing at for the last 3-4 games. So look, our focus is on the team. The team needs to work together for us to get the results.
Might be helpful though, Carl, considering this place sounds like it'll be close to full. That'll be.
Yeah, look, our fans have, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, when our results weren't going our way, our fans still stuck behind us, still kept turning up, and we need to show that tomorrow night as well, and reward them for the loyalty that they've shown to us over the course of this season, and put on a good performance for them.
He's never shy to shoot. I'm sure he won a goal on his last game. How do you make sure that he's not shooting every time he gets the ball?
Oh, look, it's we don't try to give him too much. We let him play his game, and let him do what he does. He's a very dangerous player, and I think we've seen over the last few weeks he's added a lot more to his game than just shooting and using his power. A lot of people think that's all he has, but Nesta's a very intelligent footballer, has very good technique, and we're starting to see that side of him now.
Might be a funny question, but in some ways, has he made your job more difficult this season outside of match day?
Look, it's always difficult dealing with we've got 28, 29 players. They're all different. They all need different stimulation, and I suppose my job is to try and find what works best for each player. And Nesta is a young player that is very different to a lot of the other young players. So we got to try and find what's best for him and what's best for every player that we got in my group.
I think in some ways, having to sort of deal with him, obviously in the past couple of years there has been times when he's been left out with discipline issues. Do you think there's, in some ways, dealing with that has made you a better coach?
Yeah, look, you get better by going through tough periods, and we've gone through a tough period this year. So you're always self-reflective, and always every coach is always what can they do better, and when your back's against the wall, you've got to come out fighting.
You're going to retire the number 66 now?
No, we've got to. I'm sure there's a few young boys that are in our youth group that would like to come through and take that position.
Nesta gets all the headlines, but maybe a word on Ethan. He had to wait a long time to get his chance this season, and I mean, his sort of return to the team's coincided with this return to winning ways?
Yeah, most definitely. Look, he's a young player that has developed very well this year. He's got a lot stronger and he's got a lot more belief in himself. He needed to work on a few things on his game, and at times we've tried to, with some of the young players, tried to get that improvement on match day, which becomes very difficult for them if they don't have that success. So we gave him that time to work on those things that he needed to improve on at the training ground, and now he's come in and with that little bit more belief, and he's shown that he's put in some great performances the last 3-4 games.
And Carl, your opponents this week, Macarthur, really heavy on the transition like your side is when they're playing well. How do you go about stopping a side that basically plays a very similar game to you?
Don't give the ball away. Look, it's like you said, they've got some really strong attacking players, so it's important that we're organised when we have the ball, and we don't allow them to get those fast transitions that they have done. They've punished us earlier in the year with that, so it's important that we have that focus, and that's what it is. It's focus when you have the ball.
And one person does a lot of that punishing, Isuzu. Bit of relief when you see him suspended for this game, because he has been one that he feels like has been targeted by your side before, and he has been one that has punished Adelaide before. Do you approach this game any differently?
No, not at all. They'll put 11 players out there and we'll treat them all the same. Yes, De Villa is most probably in the top 2 or 3 players in the league. So we're fortunate that he's not playing tomorrow night, but I'm sure they've got players that want to come in and make a statement in his place.
With Nesta, you say you don't give him much instruction, you like to let him go out there and do what he does. Is it pleasing then to see in the last couple of weeks that he seems, that decision-making process, he's actually improving kind of in his own right, maybe without too much guidance? Yeah,
look, it takes time. We have our structures and how we want to play, and he has to play in that structure, but he has the freedom, like all our players do, have the freedom to make those decisions that they believe is best at the time.
And you talked about the importance of getting back in the winning circle before this run. Have you noticed like a massive difference since the Newcastle win, or was it something that you noticed before then, that the team was building towards this little streak?
I think it was before then. I think there was 3 or 4 performances before that first win that were very good, but we just didn't get the result that we needed. And as I said, once you get a win, you get that lift a little bit, and then you get the second win, you lift again, and I think you saw last week how much we lifted in that 35-40 minute spell that we played, and we quite easily could have had a few more.
And on Tuesday, Steph said it's kind of hard at this stage not to look at the table as players. Is it pleasing that you're actually playing before kind of all the other top 6 rivals, so you can maybe get the points on the board, and then the rest of the weekend, sit back and see what happens? Yeah, look,
we take this game tomorrow night. It's our last home game. Then we got 3 tough away trips in a short period as well. So we're playing 4 games over a 2-week period. So the squad will have to do its best to cope with that. And as I said, we know if we keep winning games, there's a good chance that we could make it. But I've always said it's always around the 35 to 37 point mark, and that's our goal, is to get there.
And last one, last couple of weeks we've seen Javi been shifted to centre back during the game. How much thought have you given to actually using him there from the start, and how have you felt he's actually fit there in the last couple of weeks? Yeah,
look, Javi is a quality player. He has the experience, and he's quite prepared to play wherever we need him. He's played at left back this year as well, so he fills a spot for us. And as I said, we've got 4 games in a 2-week period, so there's going to be a bit of rotation in the squad. It's always difficult coming back from Perth as well in hot conditions, so we've had to make sure we've looked after the playing group this week as well. So look, it's we'll pick the best side to get us the win for each of these games.
The last couple of weeks there's been rumours about Melbourne Victory sounding out your assistant Mike Milligan. Are you aware if he's had any sort of light talks? And also, being an assistant, they always like to move up eventually. Would you be supportive of him going up for him?
Look, as far as I know, there's been no contact. Mark is committed to the club. He's even looking at buying a new house on the seafront. So look, he's not going to be going anywhere.